You're listening to Potty Mouth Radio, the home of movies, music, television, and comedy.
And now, the hunt for the perfect album.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the hunt for the perfect album with Billy and Dave, where this week Dave has made me listen to something. And Dave, why don't you tell the people about this album that you very clearly found on the side of the road because no one else wanted it?
We are in the land of the Vikings, my friend. The land of the Northmen.
Is that where AHA are from?
Norway.
I had no
Viking
idea.
land.
I honestly had no idea. I mean, it makes sense. A lot of great pop, especially a lot of great 80s pop, has come from Europe, so it makes sense. But I actually had no idea. That's fascinating. So I also had no idea that this was their debut album. When you threw this album at me, I was like, awesome. Take on Me. Excellent. And then I read it was their debut album, and I was like, oh, well, there's no way Take On Me is on it. And it is! Track one! Yeah, so tell me all about this album and when you came to it.
This album came out in 85 when I was in, I want to say like first year of high school.
Yeah.
And it was this, so like I've spoken before on the show how my parents were quite old when they had me. Dad was in his early 40s. Mum was late 30s, if not 40, something like that. I'd be able to do the maths if I bothered to spend the time. She was in her 30s. I shouldn't be rude. But I didn't get a whole lot of my musical taste from them. Yeah. I got a little bit from Dad in particular, who loved like 50s stuff and folk and Kingston Trio, that sort of stuff. So I got some stuff. But most of my music taste that I still have today came once I hit high school and was exposed to what everyone else was into and then sort of went from there. And it was also, I started high school in 85 and it was when a lot of really cool bands were coming out with their debut albums. The Bangles had their debut album. Transvision Vamp hit the scene, which I know didn't have quite the lifespan of some other bands, but fuck, they loomed large for about 12 months. And AHA came out with Hunting High and Low in 85 as well. Obviously, Take On Me exploded. It's like 99 Luftballons. It's one of those freak singles that everyone knows. It was humongous.
To the point where you have often gotten a bit shirty
I get
when
very
people
tetchy,
refer to
Billy.
AHA
I
as a
get
one-hit
very
wonder.
tetchy when people call them one hit. And you would have seen on Spotify, yes, it's got... it is significantly more views than anything else. But there are at least 2 tracks on this album that have almost 100 million listens.
Yeah,
it's just
100%.
When Take On Me has 2 billion...
Yes. Yes.
It seems like a one hit, but they did do a Bond theme as well. So, and they've had outside America, a lengthy career with other albums and stuff. But this album, I think there were 5 singles off it. It's one of those ones like kind of Michael Jackson's Thriller where for me, and I'm sure you'll disabuse me of this when you come in with your viewpoint, but for me, I view this kind of like Thriller where I'm just like, I can't believe all of these are on one album.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm not I'll stop with the teasing. I'm not going to disagree with you much. I think this is a really great album. And it's a really fantastic debut album. There's a lot of tracks on here that are very, very, very good. I don't really have any negatives to say about this album. You know that I love 80s music. It's
a ball of pop album.
It's very pop. There's a lot of stuff that really, to me, I hear other artists in this. What a massive Magnetic Fields fan I am. There are tracks on this where I'm like, oh, that's very Magnetic Fields actually.
I'll be interested to hear which of those are.
There's a lot of really great tracks on here. I'm not going to kick us off with the first track because it is Take On Me, and everyone's heard it. Maybe we'll leave it to play it out But so yeah, I had no idea really what I was getting into other than Take On Me. And what I will say is that I do think Take On Me sets the tone for this album. It's not it's not a crazy experimental album. It's consistent, it's very pop, it's very 80s pop, and what it does exceptionally well.
It's all guitar and keyboard, guitar
100%. Yeah. So we get into Train of Thought and I was like, wow, yeah, okay, I'm still digging this. It's not just Take On Me. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a bit Bowie-ish, that track, actually.
I can hear that. Yes.
But what I will say is that, yeah, anyone who likes 80s pop, which honestly, who the fuck doesn't? What is not to enjoy about a well-written pop song is going to enjoy this album.
I genuinely think this is one of... I mean, I personally think it's one of the best albums of the 80s, but I certainly think it's one of the best pop albums.
I mean, it's not up there with, say, Disintegration, but from The Cure for me. But
not a pop album.
No, it's not. It's not.
And I said one of. I didn't say the best album of the 80s.
Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm going to throw you some Air Supply at some point.
Oh, try and find Air Supply I don't already own.
Well, maybe we should fucking do it on True Classics.
Spot, my friend. That's True Classic Spot, my friend. Love and Other Bruises.
Because the only track on this album that I don't absolutely love, I think is going to disappoint you, because it's the title track, Hunting High and Low, which I'm guessing is one of your favorites, because it is one of the more kind of ballady tracks, which you tend to enjoy.
I mean, I don't have a song on this album I don't love. I don't mean like, I mean love. I adore this album. It's not one of my favorites, though.
Okay, all right. Well, that makes me feel better, because this is absolutely my least favorite. And I don't think it's a bad song. It just didn't hit me the same as the rest of the tracks do.
But I know I'll be hunting high and low. There's no end to the lengths I'll go to, hunting high and low.
I can't remember. I'm sure I had Morton Harkett in my male vocalists when we did the episode.
You did, absolutely. And what you played was the live version of Take On Me from... I believe you said at the time, it was only a few years ago, it was him in his 70s, I think.
Wow. It's not 70s. He's 60-something now. I saw them live in Sydney about 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And he was... 61 or 62 or something, right. I think then. So he's under 65, but he still sounds pretty much exactly the same. Yeah. He is an unbelievable voice.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, he still, I believe, still holds the Guinness record for the longest note held in a pop song.
Yeah, right. For Take On Me?
No. It's a song called Summer Moved On. We might. I'll leave it till later, because I might get you to put it up, because it's freakish to hear.
Yeah, right.
20 point something seconds,
which
insane. Doesn't sound a lot.
No, that's a lot.
Until you hear someone
that's
do
a
it.
lot. See, this is the thing,
and it's wild.
People underestimate time, and I know this from working in TV.
Well, yeah, editing.
Editing. I was one. When I was working in live news, I used to be a tape operator. So I'd be the person who'd hit play on the news story and then at the end eject it, load the next tape up as quick as I could while the newsreader was talking. We'd have two machines side by side and you'd be quickly loading the tapes in. Yep. And this was back in the day. We used to play a game called How Drunk Can You Get During News? And I once accidentally ejected a tape while it was on air. And it was only out for about 2.5 seconds before I got it back in. But I can tell you just how long 2.5 seconds of black on television feels. It feels like a lifetime. Everyone was I think it might have been the last time we played that game. But Yeah. It's, 20 something seconds is long.
I'm the same when we were doing, like way back in the day when when I was working on SavePoint, a gaming show, and being told, we need 3 seconds of animation to fill this
yeah.
gap.
And you go, that's not long enough for anything.
That doesn't sound like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. The Blue Sky I really like.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
But then we get into what I think is the strongest run you've given me on an album. Because from Living a Boy's Adventure Tale, which I absolutely loved, from that track right through to the end, I adored every single track. And I actually don't know which one I'm going to pick as my favorite. But Living a Boy's Adventure Tale was the first track we hit apart from Take On Me where I was like, okay, yeah, I'm loving this.
It's shit hot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Might be my favorite.
Yeah. This is 100% an album that I'm going to look for on vinyl. It's really, really good.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Sun Always Shines on TV, again, just like every track from this point is just fucking next level good.
Pop perfection.
Yeah.
The sun always shines on TV. Hold me close to your heart. Touch me. Give all your love to me.
I honestly don't know which track I'm going to pick for the playlist yet. Because from this point on, just about every track I was like, yeah, this is the one.
It's kind of unfair for someone who looks like Morton Harkett to sing like Morton Harkett. You know?
Yeah.
It's like Chris Isaac's got an amazing voice, but he's got that nose. It balances. Where's the balance, Norwegian, Viking gods?
And then some of us get nothing.
Yes.
My breath is coming fast, and as I make a start, you turn to go. Oh, I'll do what you want me to. I'll cry at the thought of the loss of a heart.
I think that at this stage, I think Love Is Reason is my pick for the playlist. I think that's my favorite. So do you have a firm favorite from this album, or is it a bit hard for you to pick?
Look, leaving aside Take On Me, because it's really hard to kind of look at that objectively, because it's like 99 Luftballons. It's such a monolith.
Yeah.
I would probably say Living a Boy's Adventure Tale. But
yeah, it's such a good track. Yeah. Honestly,
it's such a solid album.
I mean, as I said, the only track that I don't absolutely love is the title track, and even that I don't think is a bad song. It's just not my fave. But this is super solid.
You can't deny there's something dark against the light. All I can say, it doesn't have to be this way.
Honestly, that might be a contender for the pick as well. Yeah, honestly, I need to give myself more time to listen to it again and again. It's certainly not going to go down At this stage, I'm either an 8 or a 9. Like, it's very high for me. The only reason I'm not committing to a 9 at this stage is I know that on first listen, I don't love this as much as I've loved, say, The Primitives, which is always my go-to, is like the best thing Dave has given me. Although, I mean, Joni Mitchell is another favourite that you've given me. So I'm going to say an 8 at this stage, but this is absolutely going to stick in my rotation for sure.
Just for funsies, do you want to pull up Summer Moved On? It's not off this album. And
is this the one with the 20-second note?
Yeah. Go to 3 minutes and 5 seconds. I did do my homework just for funsies, because it is worth listening to.
Okay.
Just one thing left to
Yeah, it's a long time. You keep expecting it to end, it keeps going. He throws in a couple of little trills there.
When you watch a movie where someone goes underwater and it's impossible not to hold your breath.
Yeah.
And when you get that kind of...
Yeah. No, that's wild. No, that's absolutely awesome. Love that album. Going to keep listening to Aha. As I said, I was not in the one-hit wonder camp, but definitely I would say Take On Me is the only song of theirs I knew. So
because you're not a Bond fan, so you didn't even know Living Daylights.
So I'm gonna keep listening 100%. So thank you for bringing this.
It's worth checking out. I mean, definitely this album is for me, their best. But the follow-up album, Scoundrel Days, is also really, really good.
Okay, yeah, sweet.
Just no Western hits off it, but also really good.
Nice. All right, well, next
what are you going to
week,
give me?
I'm going to give you... Now, my memory is hazy. My memory is that this is... It's definitely one of the earliest albums I ever owned. It was either this or Daisies of the Galaxy by Eels, which I've already given you.
I think you did say that was the first thing you owned.
I had this album very, very, very early also. It was given to me by a family friend, a different family friend, funnily enough, who also gave me Daisies of the Galaxy.
Yeah, it's cool family friends.
I did. I'm giving you Ben Folds 5 sophomore album, Whatever and Ever Amen. I tossed up back and forth because he gave me both. He gave me this and the debut album, which is self-titled, and I absolutely love both of these albums. This is the one with Brick on it, so you'll know at least one song because everyone in the world knows Brick. But I really, really, really love this album. Ben Folds is one of the only people I can think of that I would describe as a rock pianist. Like, what he does with a piano is different to the way other people play piano. It's different. Billy Joel's a great pianist, but the way that Ben Folds...
He's a classical pianist who happens to do pop music or did
Yes. Whereas Ben Folds is a rock pianist. You listen to songs like Rock in the Suburbs. There's a track on this called... 200 Angry Dwarfs, I think it's called. And like, it is just, it's pure rock. And it was the same with his debut album. And, you know, it's a three-piece band, so it's funny that they call them Ben Folds 5.
I know. That's the one thing I did know, is that there aren't 5 of them.
one of them is a bassist, but the bass is just about always run through a distortion amp. So it leads to some really kind of cool sounds and tones. So I'm hoping that you enjoy it. So that's what I'm going to give you next week. Cool. But that's it. So thank you, everybody, for listening to us here at The Hunt for the Perfect Album. We hope that you enjoyed Aha as much as I did and as much as Dave certainly does. I'm definitely going to go check out more. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at pottymouthradio.com or pottymouthradio@gmail.com. And I've got to do it. I'm sorry. I'm going to play us out on Take On Me.
Don't apologize. Never apologize.